and brighter elements. These things considered, what wonder is it that the works of Shakespeare, next to the Bible, are the most highly esteemed of all the classics of English literature? So extensively have the characters of Shakespeare been drawn upon by artists, poets, and writers of fiction, says an American author, so interwoven are these characters in the great body of English literature, that to be ignorant of the plot of these dramas is often a cause of embarrassment. But Shakespeare wrote for grown-up people, for men and women, and in words that little folks cannot understand. Hence this volume. To reproduce the entertaining stories contained in the plays of Shakespeare in a form so simple that children can understand and enjoy them was the object had in view by the author of these beautiful stories from Shakespeare. In the Register of Baptisms of the parish church of Stratford-upon-Avon, a market town in Warwickshire, England, appears under date of April 26, 1564, the entry of the baptism of William, the son of John Shakespeare. The entry is in Latin, Gulielmus Filius Johannes Shakespeare. The date of William Shakespeare's birth has usually been taken as 3 days before his baptism, but there is certainly no evidence of this fact. The family name was variously spelt, the dramatist himself not always spelling it the same way, while in the baptismal record the name is spelled Shakespeare. In several authentic autographs of the dramatist it reads Shakespeare, and in the first edition of his works it is printed Shakespeare. Halliwell tells us that there are not less than 34 ways in which the various members of the Shakespeare family wrote the name, and in the Council Book of the Corporation of Stratford, where it is introduced 166 times during the period that the dramatist's father was a member of the municipal body, there are 14 different spellings. The modern Shakespeare, Shakespeare, is not among them. Shakespeare's father, while an alderman at Stratford, appears to have been unable to write his name. But as at the time 9 men out of 10 were content to make their mark for a signature, the fact is not specially to his discredit. The traditions and other sources of information about the occupation of Shakespeare's father differ. He is described as a butcher, a wool stapler, and a glover, and it is not impossible that he may have been all of these simultaneously or at different times, or that if he could not properly be called any one of them, the nature of his occupation was such as to make it easy to understand how the various traditions sprang up. He was a landed proprietor and cultivator of his own land even before his marriage, and he received with his wife, who was Mary Arden, daughter of a country gentleman, the estate of Asbies, 56 acres in extent. William was the 3rd child. The 2 older than he were daughters, and both probably died in infancy. After him was born 3 sons and a daughter. For 10 or 12 years at least after Shakespeare's birth, his father continued to be in easy circumstances. In the year 1568, he was the High Bailiff or Chief Magistrate of Stratford, and for many years afterwards he held the position of alderman, as he had done for 3 years before. To the completion of his 10th year, therefore, it is natural to suppose that William Shakespeare would get the best education that Stratford could afford. The free school of the town was open to all boys, and like all the grammar schools of that time, was under the direction of men who, as graduates of the universities, were qualified to diffuse that sound scholarship which was once the boast of England. There is no record of Shakespeare's having been at this school, but there can be no rational doubt that he was educated there. His father could not have procured for him a better education anywhere. To those who have studied Shakespeare's works without being influenced by the old traditional theory that he had received a very narrow education, they abound with evidences that he must have been solidly grounded in the learning, properly so called, was taught in the grammar schools. There are local associations connected with Stratford which could not be without their influence in the formation of young Shakespeare's mind.